Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another stream. My name is Dennis. Welcome back. Today, we're going to get into a variety of topics, but this first topic, I have found the cheapest new Tesla Model 3, Y, S, and X. I'm going to show you where to go to actually find it for yourself because Tesla, let's be honest, Tesla plays games. They're playing a lot of games with all the pricing right now. And so there's a certain quick way as a hack so that you can find it and get the best deal on a Tesla. And of course, really good financing on top of that. So if you're interested in any of that, please hit that subscribe. But before we get into that, let's roll that intro real quick. All right, so thanks for watching another stream. Thanks for watching another video. My name is Dennis, and I love talking about Tesla hacking, as I like to call it, but basically just getting the best deal on a Tesla at the best financing rate. So definitely hit that subscribe if you're interested. And today's video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link down below in the description, where you can get access to the ultimate Tesla buying guide with all the best interest rates for financing your Tesla. So definitely check it out. Patreon link down below in the description. And shout out to our latest Patreon members. We've got Charcel, sorry if I messed it up, and Duston. Thank you for joining. If you want to check it out, Patreon link down below in the description. So let us take a look at this. So before we do that, I'm going to put a couple of these links down below in the description as well. This first one is a Tesla price history tracker. It's a really good resource if you're looking to see all the different historical values of all the prices that Tesla has done in the past, in the recent past, and also really go far back, of all the different price increases and decreases. Because if you didn't know, Tesla does a lot of price adjustments across the board. They go up, they go down. They just did another one recently, like $250. So just be aware of what price you're actually paying. But right now is a good time to kind of buy because it is the end of the month, end of the sales quarter, because June is the last month of this quarter. So it certainly feels like a great time to buy a Tesla with all the different incentives that are out there. And we'll walk through some of those. But the second thing is, before you even buy or place an order or even place a deposit, definitely consider using a Tesla referral code just like the one down below in the description. Because if you use a Tesla referral code before buying a Model 3 or Model Y, you can get 1,500 Tesla loot box credits, which then translates to 500 supercharger miles. Use it on a Model S or Model X, get $1,000 off plus 3 months of full self-driving and 3 years of free supercharging and a $1,000 discount. So if you take a look at it, if you go to any of these pages, and you've probably done this already, especially if you're buying a Tesla and shopping around and building all the different things. Well, the thing with that is that this should be just used as like a resource in terms of what you could, all the different options that you can get. But there's really not that many, right? There's just color, there's trims, there's wheels on top of it. You could get a tow hitch if you're into that, interior, 5-seat layout for your Model Y, and all these different things. And so range certainly plays a factor. And so that's why I feel like most of you are probably going for a Model Y long range or Model 3 long range. But I can tell you, we've had the Model 3, the Model Y, S, and X. And if I were to do it again, if I needed a daily driver and you have a home charging setup, then I would just probably consider going for a standard range and just saving a bunch of money as much as possible, because Teslas are expensive. They're pretty expensive at the end of the day in terms of the pricing, the financing, and the monthly payment. There are ways around that we talk about on the channel. And of course, you can get the full access guide to all the best credit unions for financing your Tesla on the Patreon link down below in the description. But this is the biggest resource that you can go to. So go to waitingfortesla.com. I'll put it in the description as well. But this is a great third-party aggregator site where you can see all the different inventory that is out there based upon model, trim, state, or even demo discount, because yes, there are demo discounts out there. And so we'll start with the best one that's right now, because right now there's a lot of Model 3 inventory, and you can see the cheapest brand new Tesla Model 3 in the country is $38,030. This does qualify for the $7,500 federal tax credit, and so you can get this and get that $7,500 federal tax credit when you file for your taxes next year. But of course, if you're looking for a financing partner that you can get the benefits of the $7,500 federal tax credit now, that's where you can use channel sponsors like Tenet down below in the description, because Tenet allows you to finance the your Tesla or your electric vehicle and they're a Tesla approved financing partner, they allow you to get a lower monthly payment by deferring the $7,500 all the way to the end. They can do this because they work with credit unions and other banks, and they're of course partnered, approved by Tesla. So definitely check out Tenet down below in the description. And thank you to Tenet for sponsoring this video and a bunch of other videos this month. But heading back to this, you can see there's a bunch of filter results that you can look and select. You can select by state, you can select by trim, but the cheapest Model 3 in the country that you can get with 3 months of free supercharging plus the $7,500 plus any sort of state incentives that you might qualify on top of that is $38,030. And I'll show you an updated thing at the end of this video in which we compared all the different prices for Model 3 or Model Y, and you'll notice that the difference between some of them are pretty striking, and it might make you reconsider picking a Model 3 over a Model Y or vice versa. But heading back to this, we'll go to Model Y. Unfortunately, there really isn't any sort of discounts, but the cheapest Model Y across the country is $47,260. This has a $480 discount because this probably has hardware 3.0 and not hardware 4.0. So certainly take that into consideration if you're interested in this Model Y on the screen with a slight discount. If you switch to demo, there isn't really too many that are cheaper than that, but there are higher built vehicles, especially the Tesla Model Y, that have bigger discounts. You can see anywhere from $2,400 all the way to $2,500, and across the board we can see a bunch of these. But if you're waiting on the sidelines, definitely keep watching, waiting for Tesla, because Tesla will release demo inventory onto these pages, and that's when you'll see enhanced discounts. Just remember, you got to make sure to hit a referral code first, just like the one down below in the description. Highlight it like this, open it up on your browser, and then go to waitingfortesla.com. Click the reserve page, and you got to make sure you get this green check mark on the page to make sure that the referral code is linked up and synced already to the page. But switching to Model S, this is where it gets interesting, right? So the cheapest Model S in the country for sale right now is $80,990 over a $7,500 discount. It does not qualify for the $7,500 federal tax credit, EV tax credit, but it also, you get 3 years of free supercharging, which that has some value. I mean, I would say maybe $5,000, $6,000 worth of value if you drive a ton of miles. So that could be worth it at the end of the day. And then, of course, switching to the Model X, of course, another $7,500 discount, and the cheapest one in the country is $90,990. But now we got to get to the part where you're probably all more interested in, is this is the comparison between all the different vehicles factoring all the different Model 3 trims and the Model Y trims factoring in the $7,500 tax credit. And you can see right down in the middle, we've got it right here on the left side. We factor in all the $7,500 federal tax credit, and here are the adjusted prices. Of course, this is not factoring any sort of state incentives, and there's 11 to 12 states that have some sort of state incentive, including like $2,000 to $5,000. We made a video on that if you want to check that out. But you can see that between the Model 3 standard range rear-wheel drive and the Model Y all-wheel drive standard range Model Y, there is a $9,000 difference between these two vehicles. And so I'm not really sure that there is a $9,000 more of value between a Model Y standard range and a Model 3 standard range. But of course, that's something you have to figure out and to see if that makes more sense for you at the end of the day. Taking a look at the Model 3 long range versus the Model Y long range, there is about a $3,700 increase between going from Model 3 to Model Y long range. And I could see that making some sense, especially if you got a bigger family or if you need the space for whatever the reason is, if you're using for a daily driving and your work vehicle or something like that. So that can make sense. And then jumping to the Model 3 Performance versus the Model Y Performance, you got to remember these are taking the cheapest Tesla vehicles that we found today for sale across the country. There is about a $4,600 or $4,700 difference between the Model 3 Performance and the Model Y Performance. So definitely some pretty interesting stuff. Let me know what your thoughts on it. Let me know what you're thinking. We're going to jump into the next topic. But before we do that, this video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link. Down below in the description, there's a Patreon link where you can support the channel. And there's a variety of benefits, with some of them include actually scheduling a call with me, where you can ask me any questions about buying a Tesla, selling a Tesla, or even financing a Tesla. And after you join the Patreon, you get a link to my buying guide, which is the ultimate Tesla buying guide out there with all the links that we looked at to find the best deal on a Tesla, plus credit union and financing and banking links that all all have interest rates lower than Tesla financing to get a better monthly payment. So definitely check it out. Patreon link down below in the description. All right. Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome in. Thanks for coming back. We've got one giveaway channel announcement. We just finished up our giveaway with OC Tint Solutions, but we've got one more giveaway ending this coming Friday with Vion. Shout out to Vion for sponsoring this giveaway. We're giving away the Model Y sunshade for your Tesla Model Y from Vion. If you want to enter into this giveaway, go to the community page on our channel, scroll down just a few clicks down to this post right here, and that's where you can enter into this video so that you can enter in. You got a few more days and we're going to be announcing the giveaway this coming Friday if you want to join in. In this next topic, there is a new reimagined render of the Model Y Highland, and this is a new look that we have not seen before yet, and it looks very, very, very nice. So we're going to talk about it, but if you're just joining in, my name is Dennis. I love talking about Tesla hacking, as I like to call it, so definitely hit that subscribe if you're interested. And so let us take a look at this. So shout out to Dominic on Twitter, Cybertruck420. He's been the one that has been doing a bunch of renderings, releasing a bunch of fire renderings with all the different things that he's been looking at with like the lower diffuser, the new taillights, and things like that. So here it is, Model 3 Project Highland, one final render to tease the fans. The wait is almost over, and here it is. You can see we have not seen a side shot like this at all, and it looks pretty sleek. Of course, you got the blacked out trim, the newer Model 3 performance rims, you got the diffuser right here at the bottom, the new rear taillights, and it looks fantastic, and it looks almost real. Like this could be rolling off the showroom or production lines very, very soon, right? Because there's a sentiment. There's a lot of people that feel like this Model 3 Highland could be coming out very, very, very soon. And when they mean by very soon, like if you ask Dominic himself, Cybertruck420, he commented he believes that the Model 3 Highland will be coming out the first, or at least being announced, revealed the first half of July. I don't know how aggressive they're going to be with that, but if that happens, then because there is a bunch of Model 3 inventory still sitting in inventory from, of course, the older one. So Tesla's going to have to do a lot to try and clear these vehicles to get them for sale or sold off of their inventory counts. But definitely some pretty interesting stuff. Shout out to Dominic or Cybertruck420 on Twitter for posting this. It looks very, very nice at the end of the day, and I believe that you will probably all be interested if you see this. And so that's gonna be tough, right? Because the deals are most likely gonna get even better and better for Model 3 existing inventory with bigger discounts, more supercharging, and this and the other. And if it starts to ramp up even more, then that is a pretty good signal that Model 3 Project Highland is imminent, and it is coming very, very, very soon. But definitely let me know what your thoughts on it. Let me know what you're thinking. We're going to jump into the next topic, but before we do that, this video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link. Down below in the description is a Patreon link. You support the channel, so definitely check it out if you're interested. All right, what else we got? Another thing that was, I don't know if it was like leaked, but it's worth talking about. But if you're just joining in, welcome. We talked about all the different that we're finding the cheapest Tesla vehicles across the country. Here's the spreadsheet that we just updated. You can see that the differences right here in the middle between Model 3 and Model Y. And these, of course, are MSRP prices as found on the Tesla website today. You, of course, looking at waiting for Tesla.com. If you do not know what waiting for Tesla.com is, it's a pretty interesting source, or it is a great source, because Tesla plays games, right? With all these MSRP pricing on the websites, you could take a look at these websites to see what is, roundabout number of what the price of the vehicle is. But of course, it is not a good indicator, because right now, especially with Model 3, there are discounts across the board on all vehicles. And so you definitely want to just go to waitingfortesla.com, find an inventory vehicle near you. Definitely use a Tesla referral code, just like the one down below in the description, because if you use a Tesla referral code, you can get 1,500 Tesla credits, which then translates to 500 supercharger miles. Or use it on a Model S or Model X and get an extra $1,000 off on top of that. So let me know what your thoughts on it. Let me know what you're thinking. But there's pretty big differences between the Model 3 standard range and the Model Y standard range. You can see a $9,000 increase between the Model 3 standard range and the Model Y standard range. And I'm not sure it's worth it to bump up $9,000 for a Model Y. But interesting, right? Because what if a Model Y standard range or all-wheel drive is $40,000 in the near future, or sorry, low $30,000 in the near future, or maybe even 35? That could really make it worth it. Let me know if that would be worth it for you at that price point. In this next topic, it seems like a Tesla shop has gotten a hold of the Hardware 3.0 cameras on the side and also the Hardware 4.0 cameras on the side, and is doing some quick comparison on it. And this is probably good for some of you because you're probably waiting to take delivery and you want to know for sure, based upon it be when you take delivery of a vehicle, whether your side repeater cameras are Hardware 3.0 or Hardware 4.0. So we'll dive into it and take a look at the exact photos side by side between both cameras, so you can make sure to know which one is the Hardware 3.0 versus the Hardware 4.0. But if you're just joining in, my name is Dennis. I love talking about Tesla hacking, as I like to call it, so definitely hit that subscribe if you're interested. And so shout out to Tesla North. Let's just jump into it. Tesla side repeater, Hardware 3 versus Hardware 4.0, hands on. And it seems like this was sourced from Reddit user Menor Media, who owns a electric vehicle shop. And you can see there's a Hardware 3.0 side repeater on the left and then Hardware 4.0 side repeater on the right. Of course, this is that little camera on the side at the front fender. You can see there's many differences besides the camera. You can see the bezel around the Hardware 4.0 is bigger and thicker, of course, because the Hardware 4.0 is a 5 megapixel camera. You can see the blinker is also a little bit different as well on top of it. The turn signal LED strip also looks thinner than before. And then we see that the new camera housing is now slightly smaller in the back as components seemed reduced. So it certainly looks more sleek at the end of the day, more updated, probably more durable because it's just better quality item, someone would think, but definitely some pretty interesting stuff at the end of the day. On top of that, it looks like the Hardware 4 power consumption is 16 volts, down from the Hardware 3.0 consumption at 2.2 watts. So very cool stuff that someone was able to get these both side by side, because all we've seen before is body on body cameras. And so this is good because if you're probably anxious, you're probably wondering when you pick up your Tesla, does it have Hardware 4.0 versus Hardware 3.0? I mean, you can ask your Tesla advisor to try and confirm that for you, but from what I've been hearing, they have might not have been as helpful at the end of the day. But really cool stuff. Check out this article from Tesla North, and shout out to Menor Media for posting this and posting all the different side-by-side looks at the Hardware 3.0 versus Hardware 4.0. But really cool stuff. Let me know what your thoughts on it. We're going to jump into the next topic. But before we do that, this video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link. Down below in the description is the Patreon link where you can support the channel and get access to the ultimate Tesla buying guide out there with all the best interest rate and financing links to get the best rate on financing your Tesla, all better than Tesla financing. So definitely check it out. Patreon link down below in the description. But if you're just joining in, welcome. We found the cheapest brand new Teslas across the country based upon model. And we, of course, source that from waitingfortesla.com. You can take a look at it yourself. Check out waitingfortesla.com to find all the different inventory that's out there. Shout out to TJ and the team. But before you place your deposit, definitely consider using a Tesla referral code, just like the one down below in the description, because if you use it, you can get extra 1,500 Tesla credits, which then translates to 500 supercharging miles. Of course, we could jump through the Model S's and the Model X's, but it gets pretty crazy at that high level. But probably most of you are interested in the Model 3 and the Model Y variants. And you can see right here, we've got the cheapest prices on the left side for Model 3 and cheapest prices for the Model Y on the right side. And you can see between the differences between Model 3 standard range and Model 3 standard range and Model Y standard range, there is a $9,000 difference if you factor in the $7,500 tax credit for both of them, which most people I think would qualify as long as you make above like a certain income limit. or married. But then long range, there's a $3,000 difference or almost $4,000 difference between the two. And then performance is a $4,680 difference between the two Model 3 or between Model Y and Model Y performance. So I'm not sure the Model 3 is a good deal. I mean, the Model Y standard range all-wheel drive is a good deal. So maybe if I was deciding between one of these two, I'd probably just get the Model 3 standard range trim, Model 3 standard range, because of how cheap it is at the hour. Inexpensive it is. Still not cheap. I mean, at the end of the day, because Tesla's vehicles are expensive at the end of the day relative to other vehicles out there. Well, not relative to the average vehicle, but relative to, it's going to be a higher monthly payment no matter what, versus like, Camrys and Accords and things like that. But of course, cheaper than BMW 3 Series, Mercedes, and all those other types of vehicles. In this next topic, Toyota has announced that they are close, or they claim to have created or getting close to finding or discovering solid state EV battery technology, which could offer 900 miles of driving range. This is massive, because I didn't even realize you could get that many miles from driving range. And on top of that, Toyota does design, if you haven't missed it, in case you missed it with their collaboration with BYD in China, Toyota's design for electric vehicles is starting to get very nice looking and modern and sleek at the end of the day. So we'll talk about it. But if you're just joining in, my name is Dennis. I love talking about Tesla hacking, as I like to call it. So definitely hit that subscribe if you're interested. And so let us take a look at this. Shout out to Electric. Toyota claims solid state EV battery tech breakthrough could offer plus 900 miles of driving range. It seems like this was announced, or at least a Toyota executive announced this very recently at a recent event. And there's a couple of things on top of that was announced on top as well. They talked about manufacturing upgrades to reduce costs, hypersonic tech to enhance aerodynamics, EV battery tech, including solid state batteries, and fundamental changes to improve EV product appeal. But what's interesting is that they also talked about, to ensure EVs are profitable, Toyota says it will incorporate a simple and slim vehicle body structure through gigacasting. The process used by Tesla simplifies manufacturing by reducing the number of pieces needed to make the car. So very interesting stuff in that regard. But I mean, when you put a headline like this, 900 miles of driving range, then really no one can have any sort of range anxiety at the end of the day. And then talks about, in terms of Toyota's style, it really feels like Toyota is picking up their game up. I mean, taking a look at some of these shots or whatever shots these are, the BZ3 electric sedan in China. I mean, at $28,000, it looks pretty nice at the end of the day. And then also they've got a collaboration with BYD on top of that. Maybe it was that other sedan, but definitely very sleek looking, very nice looking. I could certainly see myself in one of these vehicles, as long as the price and the monthly payment and all the other things check out. Because at the end of the day, we are a Tesla fan. We've had the Model 3, the Model Y, S, and X, but we're also a wallet fan. We want to make sure that we do what's best for their wallet in terms of not spending too much money and saving money as much as possible. And that's why I feel like electric vehicles just make a lot of sense, because of maintenance costs, not paying for gas, especially in high cost living areas like California, where it certainly can add up at the end of the day. But definitely some pretty interesting stuff. Let me know what your thoughts on it. We're going to jump into the live stream comments. But before we do that, this video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link. Down below in the description is the Patreon link where you support the channel, so definitely check it out if you're interested. Mike, thanks for coming in. Welcome back. Just waiting for Model 3 demos to drop. Yeah, I feel like for some reason by now it should have happened, but I don't know what is going on, because right now there's only 2. But I guess we've still got what, 2 weeks left in the month for something happen. Yeah, actually like a full 2 weeks at this point. Even like Model Y demos is not really dumping either. We've got this is like 6 of them on the page. I mean, of course, we'll be checking every single day, and if once it happens, you can for sure bet we'll be jumping on to make a video and live stream announcing it to all of you, so you can hurry up and try and pick your places and try and get one ASAP. Paul, good evening, welcome back, thanks for coming back. But if you're just joining in, everybody, we got a couple announcements on the channel. We've got a giveaway sponsored by Vion that is ending this coming Friday. Vion and we are giving away this Model Y sunshade for your Tesla Model Y. So if you're interested in winning this, definitely go to our community page on our YouTube channel. Go down to here and you'll find the link where you can figure out or find it and then enter in onto this giveaway. On top of that, if you're interested in buying a Tesla or you have bought a Tesla, definitely check out our Tesla referral code, just like the one down below in the description, so that you can get an extra 1,500 Tesla loot box credits, which then translates to 500 supercharger miles on top of that. So you got to click it open first, then go to a Tesla ordering page. And on top of that, if you're just about to buy a Tesla or you're about to buy a Tesla, definitely check out our Tesla accessory partners down below in the description as well. We got 3D Mats USA, really premium floor mat. I know a bunch of you have been using that recently. We've got a full set in our Model X, really nice floor mat. We got Vion, Jawa, Tesloid, and of course MAGBAK USA as well, or MAGBAK for phone mount. But thanks for jumping on. Let's see. ZM, until others catch up to autopilot full self-driving, I can't even think about other electric vehicles unless you're buying a Rivian, but at that price point, probably not worried about those features. Good point. And what's interesting, ZM, with Rivian, we've been tracking this market because we do have a Rivian on order, but unfortunately with Rivian, you really can't build them for under $87,000. Which doesn't make sense for me at all at this point. Like, I just really don't feel like it's worth it at that price point. But let's take a look-see, because I feel like the Rivian market has been crashing. It's just not worth what it's worth, and there's just not that many buyers in that market. So I'm going to pull up the handy dandy auction report so we can see what they're actually transacting it at the auctions, because it seems like I've seen for sale posts for a ton of Rivians in like the $70,000 ish, and I feel like it's going to drop down to like the 60,000 maybe very, very soon, which I feel like at that point it could be worth it. Of course, $50,000, it's definitely worth it. But let's just see, like, what is, for fun, let's just see what's like the cheapest Rivian we can find across the country for sale. And yeah, look at this. The cheapest one is at $74,900. It's got 27,000 miles on it. Here's another one at 12,000. So really, dealers are probably buying these trucks at like 70 to 71K, because if they see that they're only selling for 74, 75, they're not going to want to pay that much more on top of that. So if you can get one for like 65, that'd be nice. But jumping to the auction values, we see we got Rivian. We got Mannheim right here posted up on the screen. 2022 Rivian R1T Crew Cab. I guess we got to switch it to Adventure. Let's see. Okay, so we had one run at the auction 5 days ago. It was sold for $74,000 with 2,000 miles on it. And so it seems like it's still holding pretty strong at the end of the day. But let's see. Let's switch it to Launch Edition to see if we got still pretty much $70 to $75,000, still pretty much holding strong. But definitely some pretty interesting stuff. Let me know what your thoughts on that. Paul, thanks for coming in. Welcome back. I saw your article. We're definitely going to highlight it one of these days. But thanks for jumping in, everybody. Happy Sunday. Happy Father's Day. And I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.